Well, I guess this is going to be Thursday night. Rogue. Oh, there's Eric. Hey, Eric.
Howdy.
So, Thursday night. Hey, man, I really appreciate you showing up again. I don't know if you want to do this less than me or not, but I'm not overly excited to do this. How are you feeling?
We'll get through it.
How much did you get through most of what we needed to get done?
I gotta create this 3D view, note it, and put it on the sheet, and I think I'm done.
All right. All
I
right,
mean, I know we
excellent.
got other stuff. I'm done with what we've talked about thus far.
All right. Well, since
Sorry
the
about
other
earlier. Mitch called. He got an employee of the month thing.
Oh, good. I hope you took them out and celebrated.
No, we're gonna do it this weekend.
I gotcha. Guess I'm going to throw a few objects in here so we can look at it. Oh, there's Misty.
Right there.
Sorry about that. Until you see you on the screen, we might not hear you when you're still backstage. So I was just telling Eric I wasn't too much looking forward to this. I'm pretty tired.
Okay.
It's been a long week and it ain't even over yet.
Oh, yeah, right. Friday tomorrow. Yep.
Friday tomorrow. I think Misty had a good day today.
Me? Yeah, I guess I did.
Did you?
That's good.
How was your day, Eric?
It was all right. It was all right. I'm hanging in there.
Kind of cloudy here. Kind of.
Our weather was actually nice. Well, it was 80s, so it was kind of bearable.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have a couple days where it's cloudy, so we could. I mean, I think I saw we might get down into the 50s in the evening, which is really nice.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, so we got a building. We were at he had that more stacked than that. We got to right in here, we got the text, and we started to showing him about the text. One thing until they join, one thing that I always do, and you'll have to mirror when I do the text. Well, that's the big one. If I do the small text, one of the things that I like to do is I've never understood why Revit has such a big, oh, it's on the other screen, such a big leader border offset right there. Have you ever noticed that? I always set that to be 1/64th. And it makes that box around there so much better so that in case you have another piece of text or something like
Yeah.
that.
I did that because I don't like it when the extra, because when you're around other text, it just looks terrible. And I did that, and someone goes back and switches it back. So they must have it for a reason. I mean,
No, they don't know they're switching it back.
oh, they don't. Oh, okay.
My guess is they're either overwriting it with something or they're not realizing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, even at that, you can see that it says that this is the border and the leader offset. However, you notice where the white stops is not where the border is.
Yeah.
And see, if you turn the border on, the border and that whiteout is not the same space, which seems a little bit silly, to be quite honest with you.
The whiteout is just behind the text.
The what?
The whiteout is associated to the text.
Well, so is that border. See, if I get rid of a couple letters.
No. I know that, but you're saying why not tie them together?
Why? Yeah. Well, you would not want that little bit of a bleed through. What most people would be expecting with the border is that whiteout to go there. Is considering you yourself. Autodesk says border offset. Well, it does say leader. So what happens when I draw that leader? Oh, there's Tyler. I'm so glad we don't have to do our drawing. So we add a leader. See, look where the leader springs from that border. So that is what it says in there. But the bottom line
Okay,
is
go into the text. Is there somewhere to set the opaqueness?
no.
It's automatically white out.
It's
No, you can do
automatically
opaque.
right here. It says opaque. All you have is opaque
Transparency.
and transparent.
Okay.
But where this all started from, I recommend that you make that number much smaller than the number by default, so that the border comes in closer. And it's really just like Misty said, if you start having several pieces of text close to each other with that border being big, it just covers up too much. I just was trying to go through any gripes. One of the things that I would also say that we sort of skipped over was when you're doing a dimension, you'll notice when we string this dimension, maybe we say wall faces instead of wall center line. I thought it was pretty neat when they started adding the fact that as I go across my building, I can zoom out. You'll see I can see all walls that have been picked up with their blue line. Even if that wall was across the room or something, the idea being you can look at the overall floor plan and string all the way across. Something we didn't talk about as well is after you had put the dimension in, when you pick again, you're not going to see it there, but you'll see it when I do this. This third little dot that comes up right here. I didn't. Yeah, I included Tyler. An interesting thing is if you click on that dot, it will move what you're dimensioning to. So you'll see it goes from the wall center line all the way out to the other. So if you accidentally had picked the right one, you just pick on that spot and you would be staying in the dimensioning command. And I believe that
Didn't know
even
that.
happens. I believe that even happens on like a window. See how I was in the dimension command. Once I stop that dimension command, I can click on that to say that I wanted to be on one side or the other.
You can also drag it to something else.
You can absolutely. So I could take this thing here.
The bottom
dot,
one, the bottom dot. Yes.
Right. The bottom. No, the bottom.
No, it's dot. Actually the line.
It's this one here.
Oh.
You have to have that third dot. See, that's where it gets real hard because when your dimensions are on the objects, where's that third dot? Right? It's
right on the crosshairs, I believe, Brian.
Yeah, well, that on the crosshairs.
It's right on the tick.
It is indeed. And the reason you know that is because you can see I can drag from here to another object. And it'll put those dimensions. Even when it flips them on the other side, it keeps the dimensions working correctly. And then you could edit with this line. You could add which objects you want, right? Or you can even go back and hit one that you wanted that you had on there before, and it would take it off. Then it could put it back on. Okay. I just figured I'd review some of the other commands until Tyler joined. Tyler, you're not sharing your screen, buddy.
Yeah, I just got in here. I'm still kind of cleaning up a little bit. Give me just a moment and I'll be ready.
Well, you missed out on the best part of this conversation. Who wants to do this meeting the least? I think it's me. I think I'm in the running. Is anyone with me? It's been one of those weeks. I really didn't even want to start it, but I'm trying to be diligent about this because if we can get in this routine, I think it'll be beneficial. But Tyler, it's got to be wearing you out because I know you're working all day, but hopefully it'll be worth it real soon.
Oh, this is a cakewalk to what work has been lately.
Yeah.
What about me?
What about you, Mikey? You're going on vacation. Everyone make Mike feel guilty for going on vacation.
Saturday morning.
Vacation?
What's that?
What Tyler say?
Said you guys get vacation around here?
Man, yeah.
No, Tyler, you're supposed to say, are you really going on vacation again? That's what makes someone really feel good.
Haynes did that to me today.
Yeah, I figured he would.
That's good. You're doing the right thing, Mike. You're supposed to be going on more vacation.
That's right.
He doesn't mind when he
I'm
goes to
gonna be
shoot
too.
prairie dogs, does he?
Yeah, well, as he reminds me, I take 4 vacations a year, and he's taken 4 since I've known him.
Yeah, that's just because he's. Oh, that's bull. That's gotta be bull. You just tell him he does so little, you can't tell when he's there and when he's not.
Wow, I ain't got no. I like him too much for that.
Does anybody know why this dimension stops here and doesn't continue into there? In other
Probably
words,
a reference plane it's picking up from the door family.
yeah, that's exactly right. It's related to that reference planes in the family. That's why you got to be real careful about how big those reference planes are.
Why do you dimension the door and not the center of the door?
You could. I was just throwing dimensions to try to show how these witness lines try to give everybody a feel that I can drag this witness line to another location.
Gotcha.
Or in this case, if you just click on that third dot, you'll see it'll jump, and then that would be the center. Tell me, Mike, say, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
That's why we're doing this, for user evolution.
I mean,
Plus,
darn.
And then you can delete up one of those dimensions in there, right? If you wanted to get rid of one of those.
Did you guys realize that? You could come in here and go tab, pick that dimension, and delete it. And now it's 2 different strings of dimensions.
No way.
Ah, see, it was worth joining just for that.
I knew you could do that, but what happens to a dimension that loses one of its points because I'm assuming it's because an object is gone, and now it looks like that with a gap, but they're still joined. What do you do with that?
Let's do a little test. If I pick this dimension and I said select all instances in the entire project, it would say that we have 2. Okay. So if I was to delete this object, of course, that room thing went away. The question is that dimension still there? And if we said select all instances, you would find that to answer your question, it deleted that dimension. Okay. But that's not to be confused with, let me undo 2 times. That's not to be confused with if you said hide in view categories, right? It seems like that dimension gets deleted. That dimension would still be there.
Correct, okay? Correct. Or if you remove a reference file that you're clicked to, it will lose the leg to the reference, but it comes back as soon as the reference is reattached.
Correct. That dimension is there. It's just hidden. Correct.
So then what? I don't understand what was. I ran into a couple of these with the panels where there was a gap in the dimensions, but the string was one string.
There was still an object that was hidden somehow that a dimension was at one time placed to.
All right.
Oh.
That's where that's coming from. There's it means there's an object hidden that you've dimensioned to. That's correct. Why it sort of breaks in between. See, if I was to take this window and I was to go hide, you see how it lost that whole string of dimensions, everything that went to that thing.
Yeah, and if you had 2 legs after the window on the other side, it would have held what was on the other side.
Correct. I think if I went, let's see.
Snap it to the bottom window.
Perfect. Edit witness line. Hold on. Edit witness line. If I went down here, right? Now, if I hide this, it would keep that with dimension to the window.
That's what it was, and I didn't think to investigate what was originally dimensioned to. I'm guessing it was a link file.
And remember, the one thing I want to drill in again for Ginger and Tyler is, well, for all of us, and that is all of these objects that we're doing on the Annotate tab, they are only related to whatever view you're in. So if you were to delete that view, all of those detail lines, filled regions, spot elevations, that kind of stuff would all be wiped out. Some of these objects we can successfully copy from one view to another. Some you can't. Some are going to be a little bit tricky in how they copy. And eventually we're going to need to go back through all these commands to show a whole nother level of detail. That would probably be the second round of training after we get through the first 3 weeks. And then what we would be considering this first 3 weeks is basically exposure to the commands, trying to feel how the software actually runs. And more importantly, what we tried to go over multiple times is, like we said, with the materials, they're the same as with the parameters. Where the buttons are, they sort of repeat that. Everything is sort of related. So the idea is if we can show you that functionality in one of the commands, I'm hoping you're going to carry over that functionality is going to work similarly in the other commands. That's what always made Revit pretty nice to use. I would hope you guys would all sort of agree, as opposed to AutoCAD, where there was. Would you say there's more commands in Revit or in AutoCAD? Me personally, I would think there's probably 10 times, 100 times the amount of commands in AutoCAD that there is in Revit. Would you guys agree? I mean, that's part of what's so frustrating about AutoCAD.
Yeah, I haven't been in AutoCAD in a while, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but I do know that if I have to look at it, it is difficult.
It's a little fun going back. I had to work in it last weekend, did not enjoy it. And I ended up having to remember all the commands because if you remember, we used to type those commands in and we didn't even have buttons like you guys got now with all these neat, pretty icons. If we wanted to draw a line, we had to hit L and enter. And if we wanted to zoom, we had to hit Z and enter. And that was how everything was done. So the part that I'm going after is in Revit, there are so many things that work similarly. Like the wall is very, very similar to the floor or the roof in how the structure's in there, how I apply materials to it. It's very similar. So that's why we have to go through one sometimes. But then I want you to realize that same technology gets applied throughout. So let's see where Tyler is. Tyler, I'm pushing you up to the screen. He's still playing with his Quick Lube, Jiffy Lube place. You
Yeah.
there? Yeah. Yep. Who privated me? Oh, you gave me a BRB. You're good at this. See, that's because of your Discord experience. And I've talked about it to several people, and I think we all are in agreement. Everyone thinks it's a pretty cool idea. So I can't wait till we start moving that forward a little bit. It's just been a little bit of a hectic week.
Okay.
So I'm going to repeat a little bit of a story that Misty said last time, which is a common problem. And that is you think that you're doing something with all the 3D you've got there. But until we put it to paper, no one else really understands what you're doing. That's why we're on that annotation tab. So you really need to go to one of your plan views. Did either of you guys figure out the dependent view?
I'm not sure exactly what I was trying to figure out for it, but I noticed when I changed the actual model, the dependent stayed completely separate.
No, that's not a dependent view is made for this. If we are going to try to print one of these sheets and it doesn't fit on one sheet and I have to put it in 2 sheets, that's what the dependent is. So
Okay.
what you have to actually do to understand any of its effects, do you know where we turned on shading and that stuff? I want you to go to the turn on crop. Yep, that's where that. Nope. I want you to get out of that command and over a couple more. There's one to turn on the crop. Back.
It's got a red X. Or actually, nope, it's the next one.
The next one over, correct.
Nope, the other
way. That shows the crop boundary. Okay. And when you picked on, zoom back out there and highlight and hover over that, you'll see that actually, hit escape 2 times. Hover over it. Do you see how it says floor plan level 1?
Yeah.
That's actually the overall floor plan. So stretch that to be around your building. Click on it and then stretch it over and stretch it over and stretch the other one over. Okay. So this is going to help you. Now, one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to realize you blew away your elevations because you stretched right past your elevations, so they're not going to show. That's fine. Now, I want you to go to the level 1 copy one. That is a file. That's a parent. You see how it's got children underneath it?
Yep.
Turn your crop boundary on here. Yep, stretch that in. Do you see the other crop boundary?
You kept it.
Yep. And if you hover over it, look, it says dependent to mechanical. See that? See, so if you put that right around just the kitchen, plus you also notice it's got the annotation crop on, which is the second set of box. Use the inside button. Now the inside one, yep, and stretch that to just around the kitchen. And you'll see what happened. Nope, go on to the other side of the wall. There you go, just like that. So now what you would see is if you actually went to that dependent view, which is by clicking on the child below, you'll see you're just at that area. So if you think about the job we're on, I've got all of these area A, area B, area C. That's for when it's an 8th scale drawing. And when I'm trying to do quarter scale drawings, I've got these area A1, area A2, area A3. So when your job doesn't fit on the paper at that scale, that's when you typically start making dependent views. And these do work in elevations and sections as well. It's not really great, but it's an important concept to understand, because what happens is instead of you having to work on those, you could actually work on the parent one, and it's automatically putting any tags or dimensions. So you could say, Brian, you just said that tags and dimensions are only on one view. Well, when they've got children, they show up on those children views. Did I lose you? Do you understand the concept? You really will never see it until you get to working on a building that's big enough. And then if don't do this correctly, what you're going to end up is with, let's say you have to break the building into 4 pieces, area A, B, C, and D. What you're going to end up with is a floor plan for area A, a floor plan for area B, a floor plan for area C, and a floor plan for area D. And that's absolutely incorrect. What you want to do is have a floor plan with 4 children that are area A, area B, area C, and area D.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, because I've seen it on this job. It's A, B, or S, D. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the idea. And ironically, the architect didn't understand this, because if you go into the architect or the engineer's drawings, it's a typical example of someone that doesn't understand how those dependent area works, or maybe their BIM manager didn't understand how they worked. And this will commonly happen. I think everyone will admit that has worked for someone that has a BIM manager or a standards manager. When they don't understand it, they're going to come up with this great rule, and they say, don't ever use dependent views in our company. We don't use dependent views. And that's the last thing that I don't want to do, is tell someone, don't be creative and use the tools that you have access to. I will tell you that dependent views are very beneficial, and we're going to put you guys on a project and try to get you to sheet and make these dependent views and do some tagging and dimensioning, because it's the only way you're going to really get your sea legs and be able to do this stuff. So if you now go to the annotate toolbar, we wanted to go through the next group, right? We had gotten the text, and we want to go to tag by category.
How about one more thing for text?
Tell me.
So I'm just doing it right now. I have to put that diameter symbol in my text. Want to show them how to add that?
How to add the diameter symbol?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you do annotations? Did you do text? You didn't do. You didn't do text, did you? I thought you said you
No.
did.
Oh, yeah, we covered text. You want to know how to do that?
Yeah. No. No. I already know. Did you show them how to use the symbols? How to add symbols to their text and thing? And then
Tyler, if you type a piece of text, go place a piece of text, make it 75. All right. And Misty says that she wants you to put a diameter symbol at the front of it. Do you know
leave
what
a
a diameter?
75-foot diameter. I put a foot sign and then diameter sign after the 5. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And now, do you know what a diameter sign is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
All right, it looks like theta. It's a circle with a slash through it. Now, Misty's, are you going to tell him what the alt is for that? Or are you going to tell him how to put it
No.
in?
Yeah, so after you do 75-foot, sounds sorry, 75-foot, go to the right side after the foot sign and right click. There's a whole bunch of stuff that says symbols.
There you go.
There you go. And you can put any symbol. There's all kinds. You can load more in there too. So
I didn't know that one.
I
That's
think
what I
where you
do.
load it. You might
That's
load it there. I don't know. I've
Yeah,
never
no,
done
no,
that.
that's where it's coming from. That's exactly where it's coming from, because that's where, if you look at the bottom, that was where we knew what to do. The alt, that we had to copy and
Yeah.
paste that thing
Yeah.
and put that in. So at some time they've added that, but that's
For a
good
long
point, though.
time, for a long time, you had to do like an over caret with 2 letters in order to do all those symbols.
That's correct. That's correct. It was a nightmare, but that's a
Yeah.
good tip, Misty. I didn't know that if you right clicked in the text box that you could insert the symbol that way. That's good. I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Yeah, just want to help them out. But you won't remember it. You'll be a little pain before you remember it again, right? You have to have pain.
Until you do it. Yes. Yeah. Well, and sometimes all you can do is remember that it's there, and then you might have to go look up exactly how to do it, right? But at least you know it's there.
This would be a good spot to put one of those bells where we talked about to footnote little tricks.
That's it. That's exactly right. See, if we could put something in there, and I actually like that idea, because if you just did a simple bell or a sound, you could have an AI run and go get those quick tips out of those things. Good idea for development. Thank you, Eric. I like that.
All right, go to my screen for a second if you don't mind.
Now we're really cooking.
All right, so I've got my number. I right click. I don't see symbol.
You have to be
Click in
inside.
the box. Click into the text so you get a cursor. Now do it.
There you got it. Okay, gotcha. Beautiful.
And that's actually good, Mike, because you know someone who's going to watch this is going to say exactly that same thing.
I was clicking inside the box. So I'm like, so I didn't see anything. So what you're saying is actually like wherever you want the symbol inside there, you can put. Okay, very neat. Did not know that either. Thanks, Misty.
Sure.
Oh, Tyler went green. What happened, Tyler? Oh.
I was watching.
Oh, he was trying to watch Mike's screen, because you're dealing with one screen on a laptop. Is that the case?
Oh yeah.
Where's the TV at? You need a TV and Ginger needs a computer. Is that how this is working?
Yeah. I need to figure out where I'm going to put the TV in my little office space back home.
Your little office space back home. All right. So the reason I wanted to sort of gloss over the text, and I don't have as many tips and tricks for the text as Misty does, I hate text. I don't like to use text. Okay. What I like to use is tags, because tags are much more intelligent and will do much more work. So when we go to a tag and you hit a wall, what that did was that particular tag, that's fine. You can fill it in with something. And that actually was a good warning for you. Okay, so what you did by filling out that tag was you actually made your model smarter. And I want to show you what I mean. Pick on the wall. Uh-huh. And you're still in the tag command. You're still in, you need that double escape. Whenever in doubt, double escape.
Gotcha.
All right. What
I got my
did,
finger figure on the escape. Okay.
yes. But the worst part is you don't want to get it close enough to the F1 button, right, Eric? That's one of Eric's famous pet peeves. But anyway, so when you typed in is a wall, what you didn't realize you actually did was you said all of those types wall is a wall. Now let me show you that. You've picked on the wall, go up to the edit type in the properties box and scroll down and look what it says for the type mark is a wall. See, so instead of like the old days, we would put a piece of text on there that said that, and that's exactly right. Now, what's going to happen is go back to your wall tag command and go start tagging some other walls. Nope, you got to go into that annotate. There you go. You're going to find any of the walls that is that type. Try one of the interior walls. Nope. See, so what you did is that actual wall, that wall tag was linked to the information about that wall style. Now, we could also make it be related to the individual object. And the difference between those two is that's where it's a type parameter versus an instance parameter. And we're going to get into that a little bit deeper. But for right now, what I'm trying to show you is those tags go a long, long way over text because text is only in that one view where now you've actually put intelligence in the model. You've built your database stronger for all the information in the model. So that tag by category, you're going to find that that can tag that if you went and hit the toilet or one of your pieces of plumbing equipment, you would find it's a totally different kind of tag. So do your tag by category. Yep. And see, it says you don't have one. This would be under annotations because you're doing tagging. And that's where your tags would be. And then you might find one that says plumbing tag. And now you don't. And now you're like, what am I going to do? What does this do? So that's why people get frustrated real early on when they're trying to use tags, is because they don't have the tag, or I don't want a tag. I wanted a tag that looked like a piece of text. Go ahead and hit cancel. And what I'm going to show you is real quickly how to make your tags, because then you'll be more likely to use tags, and you really want to use tags instead. So what you have to do is, if it came back and says it doesn't have a tag for that type, what I want you to do is a double escape and say, yep, it says plumbing fixtures. If you hit double escape and picked on that thing, you would see it tells you that it's a sink mop 2D, but it tells you it's a plumbing fixture. So in order to make a plumbing fixture tag, you're actually going to create one. I want you to go to File, and underneath the file, nope, you got to do the pull down one. You have to do the word file right above your little pointer arrow up at the top corner. That's it. Go to new, but don't click on new. Let it pop out. You need a new annotation symbol. And because it's that hidden, this is why most people don't use tags. Now, what I'm going to tell you, nope, good idea. I love it, but just pick the generic tag. Just pick the generic tag. Say open. It's giving you a little red description. I don't know why they do that. What we're going to try to do is put our text very close to that crossing mark. Delete that nonsense, and we're going to build a tag. So, in order to put the tag in, that's going to be under the create. Go to your create toolbar. Nope. Good idea. That one. Hold on with where you're at. We got two kinds of things. We can put in text, and it will show up in the tag, or the smart object is the label. Now, before you click on label, I'm going to warn you, go ahead and click on label. And now a little window, yep, and then click right there on that crosshair of that thing. It's up. Yes, I know you can't snap to it. Now what you're going to find is this is giving us labels, but are dependent upon what type of tag it is. And this is very convoluted, and I hate to make it this convoluted, but I want to get people more friendly with tags. So if you hit comments, because everything has comments. Now you can either double click on it or you can hit that little green arrow to push it over. Perfect. And then you say okay. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you some text that says this is a sample. Go ahead and hit the okay. See that? So first thing that you'd want to do is you probably want to not make that center justified. Escape 2 times. You're looking at the properties. You see where it says center, make it say left. See, now the text is going to spring from that one side. Now, a little bit of a test for you. Tyler, do you remember where we started out when we were talking about the border and the offset?
Nope.
Go to edit, right? And this is where it says 5/64. And let's make that say 1/64 always. Okay? That's going to pull that box that's around that little thing in.
He wasn't in yet when you were talking about that.
That's what I figured. Now, move that thing over so that the left blue dot is as close to the crosshair as you can get. You won't be able to do it exactly. Don't be afraid to use the nudge command. Arrows. The arrows on your keyboard are the nudge. And come down. Perfect. I love it. And come down as well, too. The reason this becomes so important is because this tag is going to be how it's going to work. If you start putting all these leaders on and you don't have that in a good spot, when you rewrite it, it's going to make all of your little shoulders go a little bit wacky, and people like Mike will pull their hair out. Now, this is not a plumbing tag. This is a generic model tag. How do I know that? You know, Tyler? Can you look on your screen where it says properties? It says it's a generic model tag 1, right? But what did we need? We needed a plumbing tag. Okay. So up in the top corner by where the arrow is on the toolbars, the one with the little yellow folder, that's where we set family categories. That's going to be true when we're building regular families. This is not your run-of-the-mill regular family. This is an annotation family or a tag family. Pick on that. And this is where you would pick plumbing. Now, if you picked on your text again, and then you said edit label, no. Yeah, actually, that is the same button. I didn't even realize that. What you would notice is the stuff on the side, the available parameters, they all changed. Okay. So if you had a parameter, see how it's now got a waste connection, it's got a hot water connection. They got a bunch of parameters that are automatically in plumbing fixtures. Those are them. It's almost a good list to go get to know. But what we've done is we made a plumbing fixture tag that's going to get the comments. But I'd also like you to get the mark. So if you scroll down to the M, you should find one for mark. Double click on it. And then move it up in the list. You know how to move it up in the list? Down at the bottom of the window, there's a little blue arrow. Perfect. All right. Then we have the ability to say whether there's a break in there. Hit check on that break. All right. So what this is going to do, this is going to put the mark number and comments if there are any. Go ahead and hit OK. Load that into the project. And now if you went and tagged that guy, you would see that that is plumbing fixture number 3. That's his mark. Okay. Notice how the comments, even though we used it, is not there. No, that's fine. You're fine. Typically, yeah, yep. And now by you doing that, what you just did was you wrote thingy in the you got to hit double escape because you're going to stay in that command. Now pick on that plumbing fixture. Oh, pick on your actual sink. There you go. As you scroll down, you're going to see that the mark is number 3 and the comments is thingy. Okay. So what someone might say is, let's put a leader on that and say this is contractor supplied, or this is an owner supplied sink. That's something they will sometimes do. So for a new user, the architect or designer would come over and say, go put in a piece of text that says this is owner supplied sink. What you would really be doing is picking on the sink, and then right there you could type in owner supplied. No, you cannot move your cursor off of that window. It's a frustrating, and you did the delete.
Yep.
That would be fine. That would be fine. You see what it's going to do then is it's going to update that tag wherever it occurs. More importantly, it's going to update that piece of object so that we might one day say, everything that's owner supplied, can I make that all be grayed out, or can I make that all be red, and we'll be able to control our model to make it have a higher results because we're using tags over text. Okay.
And then later what you can do is you can just do a schedule and say grab all your objects and give me all the comments to all your objects, and then you can see in a schedule everything special about every object,
Yeah.
everything that you
Or,
wrote.
or you could say only show me a schedule of all the owner supplied equipment and then show me a schedule of all the contractor supplied equipment. So the idea is if you start thinking about it in the tagging when you're actually putting notes on your drawing, that's how you're going to get to be able to make the model smart enough to be able to start harvesting the data. Okay. So the interesting thing is after the tag, so if you go back to your annotate at the top, right? So then what's going to happen is we have the ability to tag all, and we'll play with some tools for that stuff. That's not a real big one, but what I want you to understand is then we've got 2 more tags types that we can use so that we can annotate our drawing. So what if the architect told you right now, hey, Tyler, go make sure all those green line around the outside says that this is metal panel to be determined. Okay. Nope. I love where you're going with that, but Tyler, but just zoom into there so where you can see the green. And what you would want to do is you would want to go to, do you see material tag? Uh-huh. Now, when you pick on that, and what's going to happen with the leader, you're just not seeing the tag is up off the screen. Now it's waiting for some more clicks, right? And 2 more clicks it's looking for. One to go at an angle and then one to put the shoulder in. That's that last click is usually the straight horizontal line. I can see you're not feeling it. Feel it. Keep going all the way across the screen. There you go. Now you're talking. That's what that's for. Now, the idea is that tag by default doesn't have a leader head on it, so it doesn't really look right. Go to edit type and put your leader head on. Yep, edit type. You'll see it. There you go. There's all the selection under there. Do the 15 or the 20. It's a little sharp pointer arrow. See it?
Gotcha.
All right. But what I told you I wanted that to say, metal panel to be determined. You were fine. Now you got it even more backwards. To determine B. Remember, tomorrow night you better bring your liquor. We're having Revit drinking games. I thought we made a deal that was going to be Friday night.
Oh, we didn't set a day, but I'm down.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to get my wife liquored up. I want to have a good weekend.
Last
All
time
right.
we did that, a laptop got destroyed. So
Yeah, it does happen. It does
You
happen.
need an elevated surface for your laptop. Away from the drink.
Trust me, that's why my laptops you can see. You can see my laptop up here in the corner, can't you? Hanging up in the air so it doesn't get spilled on again.
What?
Did you see it? Maybe up there. All right, I put your screen back. All right, now understand that whatever that metal to panel to be determined, whatever you filled it in as, you don't really know. If you wanted to know what you would have to do, scroll out, pick on that tag, and say edit family. Edit family is in the contextual menu. Contextual, yep. That was the material description. Okay. That's where it put that in the description of the material.
Okay.
Because it's a material tag. I think if you hit cancel, can you do the change family categories? I don't know if it'll let you change that. That's the one with the yellow folder up in the top corner. Yeah. See, so you could change this. So if you make one tag the way you like it to look, all right, maybe you're using a fancy font or something like that, and you're setting up an office. What the recommendation is, you make one good tag, and then you just keep duplicating that tag for all the different type objects that you're going to have in your file. Okay. But what I was after is when it's a material, if we say go ahead and cancel and say edit the label, you notice that the list is not very long for the available category parameters. When that was a plumbing object, the list over on the side, see, we just got comments, description, manufacturer, mark, model, name, and URL.
Mm-hmm.
When we were doing the plumbing fixture, there was a long list. It all depends on what kind of category it is. Now, we can create new ones, and we will get into shared parameters, but I'm just trying to get you in the frame of mind. That's what it's typically capturing about the materials. So it was description. So if we go back, cancel out of this and go back to your project, you can close it, go back however you were. There you are, right there. Perfect. So what happens is, where did we actually type in that metal panel to be determined? Pick on that wall. The wall. Nope, not the insulation. There you go. So last time I showed you, it was somewhere in that list. It's not going to be the first list. Then we went to the edit type. That would be the type parameters. You're not going to find it on that list either. Okay.
Okay.
Nope. Go back and open that window back up. Go to the structure. Remember at the top, you see where it says material? Nope, you scrolled, didn't you? Right? The EFIS exterior insulation. Click on that. Nope. And then the three dots. This is where it put that information. Now go to the tab that says identity. And look at it right there at the top. Metal panel to be determined. So the idea is, I want you to think of tags as not just a way to put text on the paper like text is, but instead it's a way to put intelligence back into the model. then you'll treat these things a lot differently. And if you start with that, you're going to be saving probably 8 years of my Revit experience. Because for 8 years, I didn't mess with tags. For 8 years, everything was text. I'm going to show you some of the advantages. Go ahead and escape until everything's back to normal. Just keep going, escape. Nope. See, you could have done all that by just going escape, and it would have got you to the same spot.
I pressed it. It didn't take on a few of those windows.
Usually it will. Usually it will. What I want you to do is go ahead to one of your elevations, like if you scroll down, you'll see some elevations, maybe the north elevation. That was a good way to look for that. What I was envisioning, though, just so you understand, is if you went to the project browser and you scroll down in the project browser a little bit, there, nope, you passed it right there, east, north, right? So you could click on it there and open it up. Open up an elevation. Watch what happens here. Now go to your material tag command. Material tag. So that's under annotate. Right? And now go hit your metal panel and you see what it's saying? It would say metal panel to be determined. And all the idea is the material tags work great to make your elevations work. So that's going to be where you might be able to say asphalt shingles on the roof. It's got this kind of siding, in this case, metal panel to be determined. Most of your elevation work can be done with material tags and just a few category tags. That makes sense?
I gotcha.
Because you got to understand something, Tyler, Ginger. That right there, if you put that on a piece of paper, that's not a drawing. It does not become a drawing until we start to put tags and dimensions on it. Yep, and see, it's just about learning how to place those a little bit better. Now, I would tell you that actual tag's not the greatest because it's going from the center point. See how that was going? Remember how I made you make yours go from the left? You're just not getting a third click is what you're not getting. You've got to get that feel. And I can't think of a way other than giving you an assignment where you got to put about 2,000 tags on and get them all lined up and cleaned up. Let me tell you what, it's not a fun job. It's just not. That's when this job becomes less than fun. But it is a necessary part.
Revit's always fun.
You're definitely a rookie right now. We need to work some of that rookieism out on a job that's actual work. And trust me, you will iron all that out. See, if I was to pick that thing right now, I'd pick that little elbow point, pick the tag. That elbow point, I would come down right about a half inch away from the M, in line with it. Drag it down. Yep, down, all the way down. And over. Oh, other way. That's what most people would be thinking. And there's rules. Some architects or engineers like to keep all the angles going the same on all those leaders. Some of them like for all the shoulders to be the same size. Yep, see, there you go. And you would actually find if you put another one in, yep, put that one in. Look at the blue lines. You see how it's picking up that alignment and picking up the alignment? Now it starts to look like a drawing. The only thing that's really missing is a couple dimensions, usually where your level lines are. Even though it says 0 and 15, most people like to put this is 8 foot from here and 15 foot, and then another 8'6". You know what I mean by that? Pick one of those levels, grab that little circle right by the target, and give yourself some more room. No, that would be a bad thing to do. Don't do that. Escape. Okay.
Nothing's bad.
He was about to move the level down.
Okay, but that's bad. Yeah.
That's bad. No, the little blue circle that the lock is pointing to stretch yourself further away. That's what I want. I need more room from the building. Stretch it over. There you go. Perfect. Now put a dimension from the bottom level line. Catch all your level lines. So go to a dimension command. Where'd we cover dimensions at, buddy? On the annotate tab, dimension aligned. The first one. Yeah. And you would dimension from that to all of your level lines. Grab them all. Yep. Keep going. Just like that. And to the inside of the L is usually where that would be put. Now this is starting to become a drawing. The model is not a drawing until you annotate it. But that doesn't mean we got to throw a bunch of text on there. You're better off with tags. We covered tag by category, and we covered material tag. The last one, the material or the multi-category, he's tricky. Do you remember when we went up to File, New, Annotation? Can you go up to that again? File, hover over New, go down to Annotation. And what you're going to notice, now multi-category is a special one because it's going to be all categories. So when we say open, now do you remember where we were able to change the categories? The plumbing fixture up in the yellow folder thing? No, up at the top. Yep. Notice there are that long list. A multi-category tag is a very special tag. Okay.
Okay.
It's only going to be able to tag stuff that's given to all categories. So when we did a label before, and go ahead and hit a cancel a couple times, go to label, and you're going to click on your screen. That's going to get you into the command. Those are the parameters that are assigned to every object. That make sense? So
Yes.
every type of object has a description. Every family has a family name. Every family has a type. Every family has a type comments. And every family has a comments. Okay. So the benefit of this is now we can put in 3 different types of tags, getting most 99% of the text that would be on the average drawing. And that's why I would say I don't use text. Like Misty was saying, I use tags. Now, interestingly enough, Misty, do you see, would you click in the word prefix? I'm curious if no, over on the other side, prefix. Yep. Can you right click on there and say insert symbol? Right click, nothing.
Nothing.
That'd be nice if you could, yeah.
It would be more than nice. It's something that should definitely be done by 2025. So I would be real curious if they have included that.
Yeah, I got nothing. I tried all 3 of these boxes.
So if you wanted to be picking a size and you wanted to put a diameter symbol in there, I'm going to show you how I'd recommend doing it. Go ahead. You got it. Doing that, there's a bug in the software. If you delete all the parameters and get out of that command, it's like it gets stuck because it can't have no parameters in the field you've already created. So be careful. There's a definite bug in there. It has caused my computer to crash. Okay. So if you did comments, what this would be doing is instead of having a plumbing tag that's comments and a specialty equipment that's comments and a generic model that's comments, you can have one multi-category if what you're after is the comments. But you see, some tags have some really important information into them. So go ahead, just hit OK and load that into the project and try a few multi-categories. No, do the comments. Do the comments one. See where you see your problem is you're way far away from the green. Yeah, you already got, now you got 3 of them.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying. You just want one?
I just want one. Nudge it till it makes sense on the crosshairs. You want to get in the habit of that. And nudge down a little bit. Push that into the project. What I'm wanting you to do is to now realize, if you put that on one of the walls, it should automatically be placing it. That is getting the comment for that wall. So do you remember before you said this was a thingy or something like that? When you fill that out, it's going to fill the other one out.
Whoa, that's an interesting little
Yeah,
visual bug.
yeah. There are a lot with text. I think we're losing Mikey. Put him to sleep.
Metal panel. This
Yes.
one. That was the thingy. Oh god.
All right.
I just clicked something and it just doubled.
Zoom. You actually you deleted it too quick for me.
Did you want it back?
Nope. I want you to use a multi-category tag and hit that sync. See how that was just going to say OS sync?
Yeah.
The other one said 3, meaning that it was going to get the sync type. See, because like if on a big project like ours, we might have 7 different types of syncs. That's why it has the mark number in it.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
But the gist of it is all you have to do is make a couple different types of tags, and your project's going to be much better than if you're making the text. Okay. So that gets us through the tags. The big goal being, you got to understand, we got an object category tag, we got a material tag, and we have a multi-category tag.
I can guarantee you that's going to take a while for me to wrap my brain around, because even now
I don't use the material tag. Only architects do. We mainly just use bi-category tags and multi-category tags. And that's it.
Okay.
And the one that's also similarly related to, which I don't want to get deep into, which is the keynote. If you look a little bit to the left of where we were, is the keynote. And if you notice underneath there, I think the down arrow has 3 options. One of them being, look how this is very similar to what we were just talking about. It's an element keynote, it's a keynote, it's a material keynote, or a user keynote. All right.
Okay.
And I don't use keynotes that much. Only some people do that. But
Some,
because I would learn it and then I go to another job and I forget it and I have to just pull it up on Google, quick remember how to use it again.
and all keynotes is instead of you saying something like metal panel to be determined, a keynote would say something like 1101. And if it was brick, you would say 1102. And then you would have a schedule on a drawing somewhere that says this note means this number. And that's what keynotes are.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and hit escape 2 times. Get me back to the annotate tab. Oh, you were on the annotate tab. So we did the 3 different types of tags. Then there's room tags and space tags, which that's just because they're a little bit special, rooms and spaces, and especially even the data that they carry, because we can then say schedule everything that's in each room. And it could, people do this, like in hospitals and stuff. You might want to schedule all the equipment that's put in the typical patient room, in the typical operating room. So those rooms and spaces are a little bit of a basket to catch what's inside of there. And you know, when we put the rooms in, it was automatically putting the room tags in, which you filled out. So if you were on a sheet that didn't have that, like, let's see, you remember your section? That section you drew through the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and double click on that section just to show you how these room tags can work. Go ahead and hit room tag. And you would see that, yep, do you see how you can actually put that in there so that you know that's the oil bag? And you're exactly right. You should have a room tag for that sump area as well.
The pit.
The pit. So get me back to annotation. Nope, you went to architecture and go to the annotate. Oh, I hear you. That was a nice try. Why does it say it's not being bound? See, that should fit those walls. And the reason it doesn't, you see where it says upper limit and it says level 0? That's why. Delete that. Oh, no. That's a slab marker that you're looking for. That thing is a slab marker, a span direction for a slab. Yep, delete that room. Delete the other room. Now let's see if we go room. Now, what does it gonna say? See, we can't have that saying level 0. Why does that say level 0? It should be say right there. That upper limit, lower limit is telling you you're on level 0. Let me look at your elevation once. And move that concrete in place. Yep, just nudge it up or move it or something. Delete it. I don't care. It does think that that is level 0.
But the view is still level 5.
Because you renamed it. Eric, why would that room not be capturing those? Would you pick on one of those walls once? It doesn't. Oh, there it is. All right, let's try it. Let's try the room again, and I think we can maybe capture it.
Are they room bounding walls?
Nope, the limit offset is set for 10, but those walls are only 7 foot high. Over in the properties, you see where it says limit offset 10? Try making that 6. Now try it. See if it'll wrap it to the room. Still, it's not going to wrap it to the room. That's very interesting. I want to know why that is, but I don't want to get
section. Go to the section and see what it looks like. In that section that's right there. I mean, do you think you would see the room at the same time being put in?
Well, nope. Oh. You went into the span tag.
Oh, I never seen that. So yeah.
That's very
now
bizarre.
The room. Now put the room in. I don't know. Can you put the room in?
I don't think you can put rooms in. You can't.
No, I was just wondering when you put it in. I guess you can look here at the levels and see what they're called and see what your levels are in your plan. You know.
What happened? Oh, that's the ceiling plan. That's not the floor plan. How about we try something real quick? It was going to be what we're going to get to next, which is on the view tab. So go up to the view across the pull downs, up across the top. Yep. You see where it says plan view? In the middle, right about in the middle. And floor plan. Check off on that do not duplicate existing views and make yourself a new level 0. Now try to put that in there. No, it's still not finding them. It's like they're not bounding.
Level 0.
Hit escape and pick all 4 of those walls. You can do it with the tab. And there you go. There's your checkbox off of room bounding. Look under properties. There you go. So you actually got us into a good one because that's real important. Now, those things find the rooms. Somehow you checked that off, probably with a fat finger click kind of thing.
Okay.
If you went back to level 5, you would have been able to put the room in level 5. Now, where that comes in is, let's say it's a hotel room, and the architect doesn't want you to label the room as 201 and the bathroom as 202. So you want the whole room and bathroom to be together. Those walls that divide the room and the bathroom, you just take that room bounding check off, and then that room will flood into those other rooms. That's why that happens. I would have never thought you would have found it's a checkbox, or you would have checked the room bounding off. I don't know how you did that.
I'm special.
You're very special. You're very advanced, Tyler. How about we go back to that annotate tab and see what we've got left to at least close him out, because we're getting close to our mark. Room tags. So view references. View references are very familiar, or very important when you start using those dependent views. What a view reference is it allows you to tie that thing to another sheet. Okay.
Okay.
So when you picked on it, what happens in your contextual menu? Do you see where it says view type and target view? So you could reference this to an elevation, you could reference this to a ceiling, you could reference this to anything. Sometimes you put these inside of a note and say, see this detail sheet kind of thing. But that's what a view reference is. You won't understand that all the way until we start actually setting up some drawings, which we will end up doing. So don't worry, we're going to sort of gloss over that on annotate, go back to annotate. Let's see what's left. I think there was one for the stairs, tread number. That you could do. You could go hit your stair, and you'll see what it does is it's going to number all the treads. Yep, and a click. And see, that's going to show you in plan. You got 12 steps going up from the pit.
Nice.
Multi-rebar, that is going to be a very sort of specific one to structure, and we're not deep enough to get into that. Then the next three over are the color fill. And if you remember, we did the color fill legend on one of our earlier classes. In order for that to really make sense, we've got to have a little bit more drawn to make that happen.
Right.
Okay. So let's see. That is saying that you don't have any colors applied. Go ahead and put it in. We're just going to run you back through it. The reason it says no legend, because you didn't apply a legend. Right now, when you're in this view, if you go over to, you got to go over to the properties and find where the legends were, or where that colors. Nope, too far. Color scheme. You see color scheme, schema 1?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we went to rooms. Nope. Where it says spaces, go to rooms. And we went to name, and now hit OK. And what you see is now your legend is working. It's telling you what colors the oil bay room, what colors the lift bay room. For a small project, that doesn't have a lot of logic. But what happens is sometimes what we could do then is with those color legends is say, everywhere where there's an electrical room, let's put a red color so we know these are electrical rooms. And everywhere where there's a restroom, let's put blue. Or you might say every room that has water that actually needs to go to it, like all the restrooms, bathrooms, mechanical rooms, you might have them pop off your sheet by them being the only thing colored, which is blue. There's a lot you could do with those color legends, and they really get the message to the viewer very quickly if you know what you're doing with them. So they hold a lot of power. And then the last ones, which we barely can see because of my logo, is going to be that span, direction, and a bunch of structural notes. But
span, direction, beam, stair path, area, path, and fabric.
But the one I want you to do is the symbol.
Okay.
Okay. this symbol we're going to end up coming back to, but it's very important. The reason being is that those symbols you can use in a drawing sheet. You can't use any of the, when you get to annotation, you're going to find the rest of them don't work. So once we start setting up sheets, I'm going to show you some of the cool stuff that we can do with a symbol. So we'll really come back to the symbol. But I just want to at least show you he's special in the fact that he can actually go in a sheet. The rest of those ones will all gray out. The detail line, the region, the component, that stuff's all going to gray out on you. That's the big power to the symbol. All right. And I really think that what we have to do is we have to give you one of these models that I've already created and let you do some tagging, let you do some dimensioning, and let you place this stuff on the sheets.
Well, send it to me.
I hear you send it to you. We're going to do better than that. We're going to make them all available to everyone. And I was even speaking with the people at Deluxe. And I told them a little bit about my idea for the selling the facilities management model to the casino. And they are actually willing to give me a free copy of the facilities management tools to do that. They were very interested in doing it. And partially because, believe it or not, Whiting Turner has actually reached out to Deluxe to ask for demos on the software. So we must be doing something right on this job, because I don't think they just found out about Deluxe. I think it's coming from this project.
I got you. And now in this private chat, I put a link to Discord if anybody wants to go ahead and download it. When you download it, it should bring you straight into the server. It'll ask you to make a little profile, and it'll bring you straight into the profile so I can start working on that.
Can you email that to everyone on the list? So in other words, the email I sent out, if you did a reply all and give us all that, we could do a little homework then too.
Okay.
If I already have an account, I can use that, right?
Yeah, you should be able to use your already used one. Reply all, correct? Not reply.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh boy, I'm actually going to be learning something new. This was outside the deal. This was what happened to Tyler's gone.
Oops. Oops.
Tyler disappeared.
He's back.
Did he? No, not yet. He booted himself. There he is. Now he's coming back. What happened, Tyler?
I got a little click happy.
I'm glad to hear that was the case. So we've got like 10 minutes to finish this up. What I want to do is I want to look at the view tab. So let me get on your sheet. Oh boy. Let me get off. There you go. There you go. So go to the view tab. All we're going to do is I'm going to
skip and analyze, massive, excite, and collaborate.
We're going to go back to all of those.
Okay.
Those are the analyze and the collaborate. They're pretty sophisticated. Most people don't even use them, but we will get into them. But they're the higher end tools. They're sort of like when we went to structure, we covered the structure stuff, but we didn't cover the steel stuff. We have to have a well-developed structural model to do the steel stuff. Same thing's going to be true for the analyze.
Gotcha.
Oh, Misty's already on. She already hit you, didn't she?
Yeah, that's cool.
Uh-huh. So
I'm a get her done, girl.
On the views, the second one over, visibility and graphics.
Oh,
that typically all of us are going to know by hitting VV. So if you hit cancel and any one of your views you hit VV,
it opens it right up.
It opens it right up.
Okay.
And this is where we can turn things on, turn things off, make them transparent, make them do a lot of control. However, what we're really going to push for, because I'm going to show you how you can do them, but then I'm going to tell you I do most of that work with the filters. So on this view right here, the last tab at the end says filters. Nope, across the top. There you go. Nope, down just a little bit. You see the word filters? Your cursor's almost at it. Yeah, filters. That's where we're going to do most of our work. And even Misty, she still does a lot of the work on the model categories, the one you come up on by default. Yeah. But I'm going to show you, and I do believe that Ginger and Tyler, I showed you that I do most of my work with the filters.
This is
and that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to.
This is almost a year ago, Brian.
Well, I get it. I don't mind repeating it. I don't mind repeating it. I, you know, like I said, I really was dreading doing this tonight. I don't know if you all, I'm hoping you all were dreading it as half as much as I was. I was dreading doing it. What's that?
I've been muting myself in between yawns. I'll say that.
All right, so go ahead and cancel out of that. That's visibility and graphics. Notice what the next button is. What I was just talking about, right? That's the filters. That's the same filters I was just showing you in the last one. So those first three buttons, we're going to get to those, but we don't normally go to these three buttons to do it. All right? So go ahead and hit cancel on that one. If you zoomed in to the corner of your walls real close, real close, and you said, oh, those lines are just too bold because it's at another scale. A lot of times we like to turn everything to a thin line. That's what that fourth button is out there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I do that all the time.
I profess that you should never have to do it, but it's there. You should
have to turn that off, basically. That should be a default setting.
No, I don't use it. I don't like it. See, because if those lines are too thick, it just simply means your scale is not right. So turn those thick lines back on. However, when I know that if I zoom into a wall to that extent, it's probably going to be at a detail level of 1.25 inches. So turn your thickness back. Nope, turn your thin lines off. Now change that to 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches equals a foot. Nope, I didn't quite get it. Hit the area, then hit the down arrow. Hit the down arrow. Don't try to type. You're trying to type, it's killing you.
No, what it was is I moved my mouse. That's
exactly what it was.
Yep.
So if you have the scale correct, generally the having some thickness to those or some weights to those lines is a good thing. That next group, and I'm just giving you an overview. Mm-hmm. The next little group, we're not going to get into real deep. It's got some neat stuff in it, but it's not heavily used. Then it gets into the presentation. There's no way we're going to use it because, quite frankly, Revit stinks for renderings. When we're going to render, we're going to be using Veris, which is the AI one. We're going to be using Twinmotion, or we're going to be using something other than Autodesk to do rendering, because Autodesk Revit renders are just terrible.
I believe that's what Cody was talking about. Takes like an hour, depending on your processing power.
Yeah,
you can get some good quality, but you're going to pay unless you have a high powered. Even with a high powered machine, the render times are way long.
Look, you're like that's like riding a tricycle when Twinmotion is out there for free and is like flying an F1, flying an F-16. All right, there's just no comparison. They never developed the rendering inside of Revit. So we're going to actually learn other softwares to do that. And I think that when we do that, you're going to really enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. Go ahead, Eric.
I had nothing.
Oh, Ginger joined too. You guys are trying to make me look bad.
I can't wait to learn that. If someone's got to show me how to do it. I've just watched people. That's how I learn.
Well, we'll learn. Well, hey. Tyler's going to give a lesson on one of these nights on how to use it, and we're going to actually probably end up transitioning over.
I'm
Good.
probably going to be learning it as well because, like I said, I haven't gone too deep into using a server, but for this, I think it's going to be appropriate time to learn, and I know it's got a lot to offer.
Well, I think I think the part that I was explaining to that Deluxe people today is it seems as though Discord was made for people to teach each other how to play video games.
Kinda.
Kind
Do you
of.
ever use TeamSpeak way back when?
No, don't even know what it was.
So it's basically the 2000s to early or late 90s version of Discord, and it just didn't have any images. It was literally like a server. You clicked on it, you joined it, and you're in it.
And then you could talk to each other.
Yeah, and that was the most basic thing in the early 2000s, and that's how when I was 8 years old, I watched my two brothers play World of Warcraft with 50 people at once. So,
Hey.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, what I would say, since neither of you did your homework on the dependent views, I'd like you to play with that next group of tools, which is the create views. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, you see the one that says duplicate view, hit the arrow below it. You were there, right there. Hit the arrow.
With
Look
detailing and with
at
the
the one at the bottom. Look at the one at the bottom. It's a second chance to do your dependent view homework. Everybody,
I did it. I just had the wrong answer. Okay.
Bring your drink of pleasure tomorrow night, and let's just try to have a little Revit and chill night tomorrow night. And the only thing we're going to go over is those types of views, because there's a really neat view. The coolest one out there is the one that's the schedule. Okay. Because that's what gives you power that does not come with any CAD software. That is what the BIM is really about, is the ability to be able to schedule those quantities. If you have those capabilities and you go into any firm, you're instantly going to be making 15% more than the average Revit user, because you are going to understand what relational databasing is really about. All right.
All right.
So that was a rough one to get through, because without having some stuff to document, we're going to need, this is where I need to get you guys to draw something a little bit more challenging than the building you're on, so that you can truly test out the tools and throw some dimensions. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, Tyler. You're getting close to the point where you could make some drawings. So it's almost to the point where I would like to challenge you, Tyler, to maybe pick up a magazine at the grocery store, one of those architectural magazines, and see if you can't build one of the houses off of one of the pages. Either a house you think is cool, or open it up and throw a dart and try to. I want to see you push yourself a little bit further. Ginger, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've just been sticking with this so I can kind of backtrack and see what I've learned so far. But if you specifically want a house, do you want a couple stories? Like, what do you want?
I want you to do it. I want you to push yourself to that level. Understand, if you don't, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one of my files, and you're going to basically have to go try to document it, because it's not till you actually try to apply these buttons that you're really going to learn and they're going to stick.
Right.
Right?
I'm still barely remembering how we fixed the stairs. I know I had to change what levels it was based off of, delete the old ones and replace it.
Well, and that's where, in all honesty, I'd like you guys to try to get some hours in on a Saturday. That's before our long session on Sunday, so that we can really mull over what you're struggling with, what you can't do that we've covered. Hey, Brian, I don't remember what the heck was material tags about, because we need to get that stuff locked down. Okay. But as far as for tomorrow, we're going to go over the views. We're going to have a little bit of some hopefully like fun and games. So bring some jokes, be lighthearted, and we'll wind down the end of the week and have a good weekend. Are you guys working on Saturday?
Still trying to figure that out.
I
They're
got
in the
you.
middle of an ROF right now, so I have
What is
no
it?
idea.
What is an ROF?
Reduction of force.
Uh-huh. Well, I will tell you the Deluxe people were very interested, and their exact words were, you could make a lot of money. If we want to try to make the facilities management model, they're willing to give us the software for free. They're willing to take the risk with us. And I'll be honest with you, I would be thinking that would be like a year's salary for each and every one of us if we could make the facilities management model. Obviously, we still need to finish what our requirements are to construct this thing, but that means that we could start off the year by, say, going to the casino and saying, would you like to buy your facilities management model? Show them what it could do and could make a nice chunk of change. So be thinking if that's something that we want to do, because you really afford us a lot of capabilities, both Ginger and Tyler, because of you being in receiving. A lot of what goes into a facilities management model is all that paperwork that's coming in with those products,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Do we have enough information in our model to pull that out?
No, we would have to build quite a few families. We'd have to be building the kitchen equipment. There's a lot we would have to build, the gaming centers and stuff like that. We would need to do a fair amount of work. But that's
Would
why
we do it for electrical as well, or are we just talking about our disciplines?
no, I would do it for a whole damn project.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
would
all
want
of it.
we would
Yeah.
have to build better stuff for the control valves for the fire protection. It's about the stuff that requires preventative maintenance on a regular schedule, so that that facilities management model is telling the maintenance superintendent, hey, it's been 2 years since you've been up to these air handlers. You need to go do this, 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 and to them. You need to change this filter and do this thing and do that thing. It's how to get them to run the building. So mull it over. As I said, if you're interested in doing it and you want me to make the investment on a per hour basis, I don't have a problem. I'm willing to even do that. But if the risk pays off and I get that big fat check, you're going to be awfully sad with a little bit of tip money on the side. So think about it. We'll discuss it. So, I hear you, Mr. Spiral Staircase.
I was just wondering how simple it would be, and I saw it. It's already there for me.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. See, because you're starting to catch on how these menus work. That's why it's more about how they work than it. And when we call that, when it goes into that mode, you're in sketch mode,
Sketch mode, yeah.
right?
The
I'm
sandbox,
gonna
as
head
I'm
out,
going to call it.
guys. I'm gonna head
Thank
out,
you,
guys.
thank you guys so much. I think it was
I'm
great.
chilling. Bye.
Have a good evening.
Y'all as
See you
well.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Ginger. Thanks again, Tyler. And Eric. You guys be good.
You too.